Hi everyone, welcome back to Sorta Studios, and I'm here to walk you through a really good process on how you can afford Lego, even though you're a broke-ass college student. Now, this process, these steps, should help you find a way to afford Lego and also not make yourself broke, because that's the goal. We don't want to go in debt. Debt isn't bad. Debt is only bad when you can't pay it back. We don't want to get into that situation. Trust me, I have been there. Not fun, not good. You do not want to be paying interest on anything. Interest isn't good. Interest is bad. Debt is bad if you can't pay. Fair. Just simple enough. So I'm going to be walking you through two main things about being a college student and how you have to balance stuff, budget stuff, if you do want to actually afford Lego as a college student. And that is one, how to budget and how to manage your financial resources. The second one is how to manage your time resources. That being said, let's get into it.
Built from scratch, nani no makata. Just some Lego sets, ideas, some lights and a camera. But then it came to life when touching the sky kawata. My imagination ran, and I never stopped, even though that it felt like bricks on bricks were weighing me down. But I knew if I kept working, we'd survive and we won't drown. Where pieces become whole and dreams come true. This is the place where you should be. So come with me to a place out of this world. Welcome back to Sawyer Studios.
So first one is financial situation or financial resources. Like you can't buy Lego if you don't have the finances for it. It's just simple as that. There you go. You need money to buy Lego. So the first one, financial situation, subcategory, college. We need to talk about the college situation because everyone is in a different scenario. Now, if you're not in college, I'm not sure why you clicked on this video of how to afford Lego when you're a broke-ass college student. Maybe you're about to be a college student, so maybe that's I guess you could be in high school about to go to college, or maybe you're middle-aged and about to go to college, who knows. But anyway, if you're not planning on being in college or you're not currently in college, I'm not sure why you're watching this video, but keep watching. I mean, give me money and watch some ads and all that stuff. There's a couple things that we have to take into consideration about the college and the college, about the college experience and how it affects your financial situation. The first one is tuition, how much you're paying. I mean, it could be a variety from community college to an Ivy League school to a SUNY school or something. It's just there's a lot of different variety. It could be as low as $10,000, $5,000 a semester, a year, up to $80,000, which I don't know what you're doing there. But the tuition is an important thing because if you're taking out student loans, especially if they're federal loans like FAFSA, if you're getting loans through FAFSA, which I think is a lot better than private loans, because I think there's a lot of benefits to FAFSA, such as there is a grace period before you have to start paying back your loans before there starts to be interest on them. And also with FAFSA, if you continue to go to a postgraduate school, there's no interest that's added on, there's a little bit more grace period and all that stuff. But anyway, you have loans. I think the easy way that we fall into a financial trap is that in our heads, we're like, oh, well, I have a lot of money right now. I have a surplus. I can I can spend some money on Lego or extra stuff that I don't really need, like some extra luxuries or whatever, just things that I could buy myself. In reality, there's like $80,000 of worth of debt that's piling up year after year after year. And so once again, debt isn't bad as long as you can pay it back. So if you are accruing debt, then you should be taking that into consideration when you're budgeting your finances. We'll get to that in a second. So that's something. Another thing is scholarships and grants. Of course, that's going to affect the tuition, and having scholarships and grants is going to help in the long run. That's good stuff. The next one for financial situation, the subcategory, family background. Obviously, everyone has a different family background, and just because you come from a wealthy family does not mean you yourself have money. I know a lot of like richer people, richer friends that I have, and their parents are, they're pretty loaded, but they have taught their kids how to like manage their money correctly to get a job. Like they're not just going to give them free money. Like they have to work for it. Teaching them how to save, how to manage their time, and etc., and saving up, investment as well. So that's another thing to consider as well. And I think it is important to note that unfortunately Lego is becoming sort of like an elitist toy. I mean, like, to be fair, Lego is a toy for more affluent families, which is unfortunate. Now, it's not just restricted to that. A lot of the more expensive sets, you can't, like, not every family can go out and get the UCS Millennium Falcon. It's just kind of just how capitalism works. The supply and demand, and Lego has been upping their prices a lot. And they also have started that 18 plus line, which is just, really the 18 plus Lego sets, like, that really is sort of bordering on, like, elitism a little bit, which, it's neither here nor there. It's just that Lego is an expensive toy, and you could get cheaper toys, but Lego is definitely not a toy that's cheap. It's definitely for people who are willing to spend that much money. And sometimes, that's not saying that if you're not in a good financial situation, that if you're not from a good socioeconomic background, that you can't afford Lego. It's just that there is a reality that Lego is catering towards the more wealthy consumer, although there are sets that are still cheaper, but they're still generally expensive. I mean, we still have good deals with sets, such as the Fiber First Battle Pack. This is a great deal, and you can averagely find this at Walmart for $24. It has 285 pieces, comes with 6 minifigs. That's a great deal, that's great. But I mean, like, battle packs, like, this would have cost $14 5 years ago. Like, it just, they have been going up in price, and now it's $20. Sure, you can, like, it's not that families can't buy Lego. It's just now, if they were to spend $20 like 10 years ago, they would have gotten more Lego for their buck, essentially, than they would today if they were to spend $20. So, also inflation, but I mean, it's a little messy. So there we are. The second subcategory in the financial resources is part-time job. So it's just sort of like savings and check-ins, and it's not just part-time job. It's like previous school jobs, like jobs you had when you were in high school. Like, how much money did you save up then, or did you like use it all when you worked in high school? If you worked in high school. Summer jobs, same thing. And then part-time jobs in college. Now, not everyone can work a part-time job in college, and actually I highly suggest that, and we'll get to this, when figuring out a healthy college life, you need to really take into consideration how much time you need to dedicate to schoolwork. And now there are some people who really don't have a choice, like kind of need to just work a part-time job in order to pay for college because they don't want debt, and that's great, and that's good. I do think for some people, college is not a right fit for, and that's okay. I think we have a negative stigma in this world today that if you want to be successful, you have to go to college, at least in America. I don't know how it is in Europe and Asia and all that stuff, but in America, if you don't go to college, sometimes people like ask you like, well, what are you doing with your life? Like, I think people judge if someone like isn't planning to go to college right after high school. They're kind of like what's your plan? And there's other things. You can get you can go into a trade, which those pay really well right off the bat. And some of them minimal schooling. Some of them even they have their school paid for. Even you can go into the military. You can do a lot of different things that doesn't require college. It especially doesn't require a really expensive college. You just have to be competent in what you do. Really, college, like saying that you went to a big college, it doesn't always help you get into good places. It does help you get connections, but it doesn't always promise you a good job. They are just looking for the most competent person when it comes to job stuff. So when it comes to part-time jobs, if you're at a college and you need to work, that's something to take into consideration with that. But if you have to work in college, then there's a good chance that you probably don't have room to buy Lego if you have to work in college, And actually, I would suggest if you do not have to work in college, like if you make enough money in the summer, if you have scholarships, I would highly suggest really considering if you want to take a part-time job in college. Not that saying you can't. If you feel like you can, if you have the energy to do so, then go for it. But I think burnout is a real problem that isn't addressed a lot. And, you're at college to learn, and you're at college to succeed. And you can't let other things get in the way of that necessarily, or else you might be losing out money for going to college. The third thing in financial resources, the third and final subcategory, is budgeting. So I highly suggest doing this with just literally anyone, with your income and whatever is going out. This is what I do. You want to make a list of all your essentials that you pay per month, and this will just help you gauge the amount of money you need to keep and reserve for your essential spending. Essential spendings I'm talking about is like rent, if you're paying rent. I guess that would sort of be room and board for some people, but some people pay rent when they're in college. You have gas if you have a car, electric bill that goes along with rent and stuff. Groceries if you don't have like a meal plan at college, but that costs money too, so that could go underneath like food. Toiletries, not everyone has to pay for toilet paper and stuff or all that stuff, but you do have to pay for like shampoo and soap and toothpaste and all that hygiene stuff. Keep yourself clean and take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to end up going to the doctor, and then you have to pay even more money, because doctors are freaking expensive, man, let me tell you. Car repairs, if you have a car, this is just something that you need to like oil changes, windshield wiper fluid, coolant fluid. I don't know, maybe just your windshield wipers need replacing, or tires are freaking expensive. Cabin air filters, literally anything, maybe your ball joint, I don't know, something like that. It's just like cars are just, there's so much money that goes into cars, and your car could break down at any second, and if you're not prepared for that, that's a problem. So essentials in my head are things that that you have to pay for monthly, and then there should be categories where it's like, if this happens, this is an essential. So it's always smart when you're figuring out your budget to have like a car repairs thing, and to just put it aside in your savings account and keep it there month after month after month in case something happens. So if a random $500 expense comes up for your car, you can just pay it and you'll be good. So that's really, really important with car repairs. So like every month set aside $50, and you probably won't, if you don't use that $50 for a solid year, then boom, you have 50 times 12, which is $600. Yeah, you have $600 in your savings now, in case for a car repair. And honestly, there are some car repairs that are like thousands of dollars. So like $50 a month is kind of the minimum, honestly, when it comes to that. You have your medical expenses, so whether that's eye care, dental care, just checkups, I don't know, shots, anything like that, appointments, whatever it is. You also have to keep medical stuff in mind. And then unexpected emergencies, that sort of goes along with the car repairs, that also sort of goes around with medical. But I always would set a little bit extra money aside, and you have to you have to have self-control. Like, this money is for emergencies only. Like, if I need money for an essential matter, then that is for that, and there's no negotiation for that. For religious people, like myself, I set aside at least $40 a month to go to charity or to go to the church or for tithing or something like that. I only get a check monthly, and that's probably going to be more for some people if you get like bi-weekly or whatever. But that's part of my essentials because it's part of my religion and my faith. I think it is important to give back to the community, to give to people who can't afford it. Like, I mean, I live pretty well off. Like, I'm definitely not living, like, I'm definitely not financially thriving. Like, there's a lot of stuff I do that I have to do to cut back on prices, but I still think I have to recognize, like, I'm in a place of privilege. I'm at a really nice college, university. I'm getting a degree. I do have I can, if I want to, go out and get a cup of coffee. Like, lots of people can't do that. And so I think it's important for me just to remain humble in that, to give to people who aren't as blessed as I am. I think that's really important. Actually, I think that's just even if you're not religious, I think that's an important thing to do, to create a culture that cares for the people who are needy. Like, I just think that's a really good practice to have. I think if everyone did that, the world would be a better place. Budgeting. So the next category, and that is non-essentials. You might be surprised from some of the stuff in here. Phone and cable bill. It's not essential, no matter what society may tell you. You do not need cable, and you also do not need to pay an insanely expensive phone bill. You do not need unlimited 5G. You don't. You really don't. I mean, it's nice to have, but if you really want to save money, you don't need unlimited 5G. You really don't need LTE either. I mean, if you have Wi-Fi, if you're just paying for internet, there you go. And lots of times Wi-Fi comes with the apartment rent anyway. You do not need a smartphone. I know they're very convenient, but you don't need a smartphone. Like, you don't need Instagram. You don't. These are all luxury. These are all first world privileges that we do not need to survive. You can get a dumb phone. You can get stuff that's cheaper. Subscription services. I actually just canceled my Disney Plus subscription, and there's a couple reasons why, but it's just not. I reflected on, like, it's not worth paying $80 a year, and when new Star Wars shows come out, I'll just watch it whenever I get the chance. If someone else has Disney Plus, it might get spoilers, but I really don't care, because Star Wars is. I have mixed feelings about where Star Wars is heading anyway. But subscription services, I just discontinued my Paramount Plus as well subscription and my Disney Plus subscription, so I'm saving money there. Eating out and coffee. You will not imagine how much money we actually spend when we're just buying snacks. Like, if you buy a coffee like 3 times a week, though, that money like builds up. Like, if you buy a $5 coffee 3 times a week, that's $15 a week. That's like $60 a month, a little bit more than $60 a month, and $60 is plenty of money to buy a Lego set a month. So there you go, boom. And eating out, buying snacks even from a convenience store or getting lunch or getting dinner also includes in that. Social events, these are non-essentials, but it's nice to have money for social events. It's nice to be able to go out with friends, whether that's a club or a museum or go-karting or putt-putt or laser tag or an escape room or something. That's just nice. Luxuries, so weighted blanket, cool pens, new watch, I don't know, stuff like that, a blender, like, not stuff that would be nice to have but you don't need. New clothes, this doesn't mean like, oh, I like, all my socks have holes in them, I need new socks, like, that's an essential. But if it's like, oh, I just want to get a new top, then, new clothes. Now, if you want to buy new clothes, go to a secondhand store. Lots of people love thrifting. I mean, it's a great way to find really awesome stuff for cheap. It's really good. Yeah. And then the final non-essential is vacation. Like, if you take a trip somewhere, or maybe going to the city, I don't know, something like that. Just like vacation, all this stuff. So the point of this when budgeting is to look through all your essentials and all your non-essentials. If you genuinely want to buy Lego, then you will take some of those non-essentials, the wiggle room in the non-essentials, and make it work out so that maybe you could fit Lego in there. If Lego is more important to you than watching Marvel movies, then maybe cancel your Disney Plus subscription. And I think that's what, I mean, I don't know how much that was, $9.99 a month, Maybe it's a little bit more than that, but that's $10 a month, which that adds up. That really does add up. Once again, the eating out and the coffee, that saves a lot of money. So it's sort of like that stuff, like how much money can I set aside for these non-essentials? And don't forget, you do want to be saving money. I think a really smart thing to do, actually, if you have a part-time job, if you're making money in the summer and in the school year, start a Roth IRA and start getting some, maybe a 401k. Just start getting some investment going for future retirement. It's never too early to start investing in retirement, honestly, so that's important. The second main category is time resources, and this is really important for college students to understand. Like, if you're in college, you're like, oh man, I wish I had more money so I could buy Lego. If your motivation to get a part-time job is to buy more Lego, then I think you should think about first, what will a part-time job look like for me? And part-time job I could be 12 hours a week, 9 hours a week, 6 hours, 3 hours. Like if you just want to work, I don't know, 3 hours a week, get like $15 an hour, that's $45 a week. Like if you're satisfied for that, 45 times 4, $680 a month, then there you go. You just spent $180 for Lego. Maybe that's all you need to budget out, and then there you go. That's fine. I think it's important that you have to look at how much time do I need to not just be healthy mentally, but to be to have enough time to do homework in order to get good grades, in order to succeed. And that's really important. So that's with part-time job. You have social time, like if you're part of a frat, part of a club, like that's really important stuff, because you can buy Lego for the rest of your life. I mean, yes, Lego retires, but in reality, you only go to college like probably once. And so time when you're in a frat, like that community, you're not going to want to miss out on that. In reality, friends, you're not going to want to miss out being with friends, making long-lasting relationships when you're in college either. Like this is a true opinion, if your Lego purchasing is withholding you social time with other people, like if you need to take away social time in order to work just because you want to make money to get Lego, that's not worth it. It's really not worth it. Relationships are so much more worth it, and it's just way more rewarding. You also need you time, especially if you're an introvert. I'm an introvert. I need a lot of me time, honestly, in order to recharge. And that's really hard, because even when I'm recording YouTube, this is me being an extrovert. Like I'm not faking it. Like this is me, but this is me at an amped up energy level, which I've been doing some searching about myself recently, and some self-reflecting. I need me time. And when I'm out with friends, I do reserve enough extroverted energy in myself to be out with friends and to be extroverted. And I think find a good two people that you can be super close with. Like you can really start to create a really strong friendship. And these should be friends who you don't have to be extroverted, and you can still they don't drain you, and you can still hang out with them and have a great time. I mean, when I'm with friends, if I'm at this point where I've had a long day, I need to find I have very few friends in which I can hang out, not be an extrovert, but still feel energized and feel like we're having a good time, and that I can just truly be myself at a very low energy, which is nice. But for all of you here at YouTube, I make sure that I'm an extroverted self. So that's you time, very important. And then sleep. You need to be getting a lot of sleep. That's important, and it's not cool if you only sleep 4 hours a night. That's not cool. That's harmful, and that's unhealthy. And I wish people wouldn't brag whenever they skip breakfast, or whenever they're like, oh, this is my first meal of the day, and it's evening. Why are you bragging about that? That just shows that you don't have a good handle on your life. I don't know why that's something that people feel like they need to share. And I think I do. I think it's for attention, to be honest. I don't like it when people say those comments just to purely get attention or get a reaction from people. like it's not healthy. That's not good behavior, and that's not good feedback. So if someone says like, I only got 2 hours of sleep, now if you need to pull an all-nighter, I have pulled all-nighters, but you don't need to go around bragging about it. But in general, those are rare circumstances. Overall, throughout the entire school year, you should be getting a good amount of sleep, because if you don't get sleep, you're going to burn yourself out and you're not going to be able to do well. It's like, sure, if I don't get a lot of good sleep for like this entire week, I might be able to finish assignments then, but if you don't get sleep for the entire week, it's just going to become a bad habit, and then it's just going to affect the rest of your semester. So it's really about the long-term effect when it comes to that. Religion, I'm Catholic, if you don't know. I have a Catholic playlist on my YouTube channel, and setting time aside for God is very important, and a great way to do it is just, I think every Christian should pray at least an hour every day. It's a good habit to get into. The way I like to do it is I like to break up into 4 15-minute segments throughout the day. It's super easy. Like right when I wake up, 15 minutes of prayer. Before I go to sleep, 15 minutes of prayer. And then just 2 times throughout the entire day, 15 minutes of prayer. You can do it on a car ride. You can do it on a walk. Just relationship. Going to church, going to mass, making sure that you have time for like confession and stuff. Going to Eucharistic adoration. Religion is important. I have, I think, 3 small groups that I attend throughout the week, and that's just purely for community social purposes and for spiritual growth in myself. And then I have some community service time set aside throughout the week as well, which is important to me, and I think honestly helps, like it creates a healthier mindset, and I'm a huge advocate that mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical health all relate. And if one of those is lacking, then it's going to affect everything else, which comes to my second point, exercise. Even if it's just going for a walk for 10 minutes a day, that's good enough outside. Like, exercise is great. I have a group of guys here. We run Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. I've lifted with some guys on Fridays. On the weekends, I try to do some extra workout stuff. Just like get into a routine and then get accountability with some friends, and just like go and do some physical working out, because it's gonna be good. It's healthy, and it will help you think better. Once again, physical health will affect your mental health and your emotional health. All that stuff will affect everything. Speaking of mental health, this is September and this is Suicide Prevention Month. But just mental health awareness. If your mental health is suffering, it's going to affect, once again, the rest of the categories in your life. So you have to make sure that you don't just get you time, but if you need to set time for like seeing a counselor, then you do that and you put that as priority. All this being said, college, very demanding time-wise, so you don't have time all the time to be constantly looking for good deals. If you're up on your Mercari or eBay late at night and you find out it's 2 a.m. and that you've been searching for good Lego deals for like 3 hours straight, that's unhealthy. And so the whole point of going over these time resources is that all of these things should be more important, should be more of a priority than looking through good Lego deals. That's the important point to take away from that. And so, since we don't have time to go through Lego deals all the time, then some resources that you should look into when buying Lego is just ways to just find cheap Lego, or just find deals on Lego. I mean, any amount of money off really matters. I have a great video. I think it's just called Buying Lego for Beginners, or how to buy Lego for beginners, or whatever, something like that. But you should check out that video. There's a lot of good tips in that video for you to get Lego and also save money as well. But that's sort of like the basis of how you should go about figuring out how you can afford Lego when you're a broke-ass college student, is that you need to have a good look. Like, I kid you not, just spend an hour on your financial situation and what you need to be saving for. Because if you need to be saving $500 a month to prep for paying off your student loans when you graduate, then do that, because debt isn't good. And trust me, the government is not just going to forgive student loan debt all the time. That's rare. That probably won't happen again. And honestly, you probably don't want it to happen again, because when you forgive that much student loan debt, you are curbing inflation to a extent that later down the road it's going to wreck the economy. So in the long run, investment wise, not going to be good either. So like, it feels good right now, obviously. I mean, I had some student loans forgiven, that felt great. But later down the road is going to heavily affect the economy very negatively, and it might honestly end up costing us even more money down the road. We don't know, but just keep that in mind. Anyway, but yes, you should keep in mind, if I have any debt, I need to be setting a certain amount of money aside. And if the government does forgive student loans again in the future, then you'll have all this money that you thought you needed to save up that you don't need to spend on student loans anymore. And now it's like, oh, I have a lot of money that I can pour into maybe other stuff that's essentials, or maybe I can splurge on something like a big Lego set or something like that. So it's more like a win-win. It's just, this is really all about self-control, and self-control works the best when you work it all out. And then time resources, just make sure in college you're making enough time for the things that are important and not obsessing over scrolling through eBay and trying to find good Lego deals or Facebook Marketplace or whatever. Also, watching Lego YouTube videos. Of course, you should watch Story Studios, but in all reality, YouTube can be a very toxic place, especially YouTube Shorts. Just anything like TikTok, Instagram, you can get stuck on that for hours, and just really be aware of that. Like, I think it's important to note that when we go on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or whatever, a lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the times when we get off, we still feel drained and it didn't really fill us up. So just be aware of what type of entertainment you want to watch and you want to invest in. That's also important. Mental health, etc. I'm a huge advocate for going for a walk. That always works, for me at least, and for anyone else I've talked to that goes on walks, like, way better than scrolling through Instagram. So there we are. This is Story Studios. I hope that helped. I hope that brought some enlightenment to any of you who are looking to afford Lego as a college student. So there we go. Like, comment, subscribe, watch some other Lego videos as well, and join the Discord. Click the bell icon. See you all in the next video. Peace out.